One of America's top counterterrorism officials, Joe Kent, has suddenly resigned over the ongoing war with Iran. In a powerful letter to President Donald Trump, he made serious claims that are now shaking Washington. What really happened? Let's break it down. One of the most dramatic developments inside the United States government has emerged as Joe Kent, a senior counterterrorism official, resigned from his position over the ongoing war with Iran, sending shockwaves across political and military circles. In a strongly worded resignation letter addressed to President Donald Trump, Kent made it clear that he could no longer support the war, stating that he could not, in good conscience, back a military campaign he believes is unnecessary and potentially disastrous. According to Kent, Iran posed no immediate or imminent threat to the United States, and he argued that the decision to enter the conflict was influenced by external pressures rather than clear national security needs. His claims have sparked intense debate, especially as he directly suggested that political influence and media narratives may have played a role in shaping the administration's decision to go to war. To understand the significance of this resignation, it is important to look at who Joe Kent is and why his voice carries weight. Kent is not just a political figure, he is a decorated former U.S. Army Special Forces soldier who completed multiple combat deployments, including missions during the Iraq War. After his military career, he went on to work as a paramilitary officer with the Central Intelligence Agency, gaining first-hand experience in intelligence operations and counterterrorism strategy. His background makes him one of the more experienced voices when it comes to assessing global threats and military risks. On a personal level, Kent's life has also been shaped by the realities of war. His wife, a U.S. Navy intelligence specialist, was killed in a suicide bombing in Syria in 2019, leaving behind their children. This personal loss adds emotional weight to his warning about the human cost of prolonged conflicts. Kent had been serving as director of the National Counterterrorism Center for less than 8 months, making his resignation even more significant, as it represents one of the highest-level internal disagreements within the current administration. His appointment had been supported primarily by Republican lawmakers, and he was considered part of a group within the administration that was more cautious about foreign military intervention. This group reportedly included figures such as Tulsi Gabbard and Vice President J.D. Vance, both of whom have previously expressed skepticism about engaging in overseas wars without clear strategic outcomes. In his resignation letter, Kent pointed out that President Trump had previously campaigned on avoiding never-ending wars in the Middle East, referencing past conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan that cost the United States thousands of lives and billions of dollars. Kent argued that the current war with Iran risks repeating those same mistakes, warning that initial expectations of a quick and decisive victory could turn into a prolonged and costly conflict. He also claimed that misinformation and political pressure may have influenced the administration's perception of Iran as an immediate threat, suggesting that decision-makers may not have had a complete or accurate picture of the situation. The reaction to Kent's resignation has been deeply divided. Some political figures and commentators have praised his decision, calling it a courageous and principled stand against a war they believe lacks justification. Others, however, have strongly criticized his statements, arguing that Iran does pose a significant threat and that his remarks could undermine national security. President Trump himself responded by dismissing Kent's position, stating that he believed Kent was weak on security and suggesting that his departure was ultimately beneficial for the administration. Similarly, other senior officials defended the war effort, emphasizing that decisions regarding national security threats rest with the president as commander-in-chief. At the same time, Kent's resignation has added to a growing debate within the United States about the direction of its foreign policy. Analysts suggest that while one resignation may not immediately change military strategy, it can influence public opinion and political dynamics, especially as the country approaches key elections. Kent is known to have support among certain segments of the political base, and his criticism of the war could signal broader concerns among voters who are wary of another long-term military engagement in the Middle East. Another controversial aspect of Kent's resignation involves his comments about foreign influence and the role of allies in shaping U.S. policy. Some critics have accused him of making statements that could be interpreted as inflammatory or inappropriate, while others argue that he is raising legitimate questions about how foreign policy decisions are made. This part of the debate has further intensified political tensions, with lawmakers and public figures taking sharply opposing sides. Ultimately, Joe Kent's resignation is more than just a personnel change. It is a reflection of deeper divisions within the U.S. government and society over issues of war, security, and global responsibility. It highlights the challenges faced by policymakers in balancing national security concerns with the risks and consequences of military action. As the situation continues to unfold, the impact of his resignation may become clearer, particularly in terms of how it shapes public opinion, political discourse, and future policy decisions. For now, it serves as a powerful reminder that even at the highest levels of government, there can be significant disagreements over the most critical decisions affecting the nation and the world. Another controversial aspect of Kent's resignation involves his comments about foreign influence and the role of allies in shaping U.S. policy. Some critics have accused him of making statements that could be interpreted as inflammatory or inappropriate, while others argue that he is raising legitimate questions about how foreign policy decisions are made. This part of the debate has further intensified political tensions, with lawmakers and public figures taking sharply opposing sides. This resignation could have major political and global consequences. What do you think? Was this decision justified or not? Comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to World Monitor for the latest global updates. Another controversial aspect of Kent's resignation involves his comments about foreign influence and the role of allies in shaping U.S. policy. Some critics have accused him of making statements that could be interpreted as inflammatory or inappropriate, while others argue that he is raising legitimate questions about how foreign policy decisions are made. This part of the debate has further intensified political tensions, with lawmakers and public figures taking sharply opposing sides.